Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Life No Edits. Different scenery, different vibe. This is probably going to be the permanent podcast station just because I moved and I'm in a different space, I'm in a different place, and things are just not the same, and that is okay. So I hope you guys have been having an amazing holiday season, even though it's done by the time this podcast goes up. I hope you guys are enjoying your 2025 thus far. I know I have. If you are not new to the channel, you know that I am pregnant and I've been hiding this for months. And if you are new, I'm pregnant. So things are different. I'm out of breath. If you go back and look at like the first two podcasts and my last few vlogs, you can hear like the panting. I'm so out of breath and I'm doubling in size as the days go by. But nevertheless, it's not going to stop me from posting my thoughts and feelings and sharing everything that's been going on throughout my life with you guys through this podcast. So we're not going to talk too much. We're just going to really get into it. And today's topic, I really want to discuss feelings of being left behind. And I say that because a lot of us are planning our 2025 goals and maybe redoing some of the ones or taking some of the ones from 2024 into 2025. And I want this podcast to let you guys know that putting pressure on these goals is not going to make you achieve them any faster. So for me, for example, I used to be the kind of girl that would have the vision board and like over 30 different things on my goals for the new year and all the things I want to achieve. And then by the end of the year, I've probably only done one. And that's just because it takes a while to build like habits. We go through life, we go through different things. Not every day is the same. Not every day you're going to be in a good mood and not every day goals, period. Not every day goals, like sometimes you really just got to work on yourself so you are able to achieve those goals, because it does take a long time to build habits. And, people are like, yeah, have one goal and hit it in 30 days. It doesn't work like that. For me, I would have one goal and I would set that for the next 90 to 120 days. Because around that goal, you have to build good habits. You have to change a lot of the things in your life to achieve those goals. You cannot be the same laid back, lackadaisical, lazy person and want to be, somebody who starts a business. They don't go hand in hand. And you may be able to start the business, but still have those lazy habits and not be able to maintain your business because you didn't work on those bad habits that you have. If you guys kind of get what I'm saying. So, needless to say, let's kind of talk about feelings of being left behind. I struggled with that. I like to call it the good old FOMO. See everybody doing all of these things, and you're like, wow, like, why is that not me, God? Like, why do I not have these things? Why isn't it working out for me? Why her and not me? You have all these feelings of feeling like you're not doing enough. And I felt that way a lot of my life just because of people around me or trying to be who I thought other people wanted me to be. As I got older, I started to realize I can only be Danielle and do things at Danielle's pace. Yeah, the thing that taught me this lesson was starting my business. I'm like, I'm in my mid-20s, like 24, 25. I have all this debt and, I still live at home and, like my business is doing great, but it's not doing amazing. And I can't pay off on my car and I can't pay off my student loans and I can't do all of these things. And I don't have the mansion and I don't have the fancy car and I don't have all these things. Just because he and she has it doesn't mean I have to have it too. And just because you don't have it, it doesn't mean that you're any further behind in life than anybody else. Because one thing about social media, it will paint this perfect picture of who you should be. And at the end of the day, those people that are painting these perfect pictures are struggling just to maintain this lifestyle that they've now showed you online that you feel like you should be living, if that makes sense. You know, it could be the aesthetic apartment, and then you may feel like you may not have the aesthetic apartment. It could be the fancy car, and you may just be driving a Honda Civic. I was the girl driving a Honda Civic. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I started to do a lot more personal development and figuring out why I felt this way in life, where I started to see that I don't have to have it all together all the time. And just because, you know, this person has this $1 million business or this $1 million house or these $1,000 car doesn't mean I'm much further behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people that fail in businesses time and time again and are not successful until they're in their 40s, until they're in their 50s, until they're in their 60s. And a really good example of this is something I read in a book. I can't remember which personal development book it was. It was called it's either The Mountain Is You or The Subtle Art of Giving a Fuck. I don't remember which book it was, but pretty much the example was given when we can even use Honda. Let's use Honda as example because people want to be riding on the girls that drive the Hondas and the Corollas. Okay, so say you have Honda, right? Honda didn't start their business today and have the perfect car tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? They probably had engine problems that took months and years to fix. They probably, built a car and thought it was perfect, and then it's the accelerator. Then the accelerator is probably taking 6 to 8 years to fix or to become like the perfect patent piece of material. I don't know how cars and mechanics work. Then they build the car is perfect. They realize when they drive it throughout the year, there's the rust protection on it isn't great. Like, what I'm pretty much trying to say is, like, a lot of these successful businesses that have thousands and millions of cars on the road, they didn't start their business today and was successful tomorrow. It took years of trial and error to get that car right. Nobody's gonna put you in a car that's not safe after you paid hundreds and thousands of dollars for it. And if they do, like, something's wrong with them. But you're never gonna get a Civic that was designed today, put on the road tomorrow, and bought the next day and is safe to drive. It takes years and years of trial and error to figure these things out as you go. So what makes you think that you're any different from these other people that start these businesses and do these different things? Failing is okay. Making mistakes is okay. Having negative outcomes is okay. What matters is what you do with those things to get you back on track, to be better, to do better, and to have the result and the outcome that you want without putting pressure on yourself. Because again, we are talking about feeling like being left behind. You don't have to have it all figured out in your 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. You don't have to have it figured out. You have to remember that in this life, a lot of the things that you're doing for the very first time. You may be an only child. I was only child for a long time, but I was my mom's first girl. She experienced my first walks in life for the first time as a mother. She experienced her only daughter being 16 for the first time and having to deal with my attitude and my issues. So just like when you're dealing with things for the first time, a lot of people are dealing with things for the first time. So if we're dealing with things for the very first time in life, why do we always feel like we're being left behind? And it's because society paints these unrealistic pictures of how we should be, instead of us trying to figure out who we are and how we could be better for ourselves and those around us. You can be in debt tomorrow and be in debt today and be a millionaire tomorrow. And that may not happen in your 20s. It may not happen in your 30s, but it may happen in your 50s, and that's okay. My biggest thing was I have all this debt, and, like, my life is starting to get serious. I'm in a serious relationship. I'm having a baby, like, planning to buy a house and do all of these things, and I have all this debt. And I'm just like, Danielle, it's actually okay. You went to school, so your student loans are not just there because, you took the money out and you bought a car with it. You went to school with it, and it's going to take some time to pay. I'm not going to wake up and have that 6-figure job. I have to work for it. You know what I'm saying? My path in life may not be as neat and pretty as Becky's, who may have had everything handed to her to where, she may be successful now and not have that feeling of being left behind. But I did. Because I'm like, all of these people in my life are doing these amazing things and saying they're paying off their credit cards and they're paying off their student loans and they're paying off their cars. And I'm sitting here with all of these on my credit and I'm like, dang, girl, what am I doing wrong? But I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm living my life and I'm doing things at my own pace. And I've realized that that's okay. I never want to put that pressure on myself. And I would never want you guys to put that pressure on yourself too. Feeling like you're failing in life or feeling like a constant failure because you feel that you don't have it all together. And it's hard to not feel that way. But again, it goes back to setting realistic expectations. I had somebody tell me that setting realistic expectations is thinking small. And I don't think it's thinking small. I think it's being realistic. I don't think being realistic is limiting yourself. I think it's just being plain realistic. Because you can be realistic and have a negative mindset, and you can be realistic and have a positive mindset. I don't know where your mindset's at, but I'm a realistic girl with a positive attitude because I know that whatever is meant to be in this life, whatever is meant for me will always find me. Whatever money's supposed to find me to pay debt and to pay bills and to have a better credit score will find me when God sees fit, and that's okay. It may not happen today, but it could happen tomorrow, and that's just me being realistic. And I want everybody to really think about that because the more pressure you put on yourself to be perfect and to have everything together, you make your life a lot harder for yourself. It's harder to obtain or have those feelings of being happy. It's harder to have those feelings of being near being satisfied. You're not gonna be satisfied all the time, but like getting close to those feelings or having those feelings for even a moment, you rob yourself of those little moments that make you happy because you're focused on all of the things in your life or why you don't have what she has or you don't have what he has. It's a very dangerous and exhilarating drug to be on these rides and to become people who were not just to have things that other people have. But when you're humbled and God brings you back to who you are and you realize, damn, I wasted all this time being somebody who I'm not because I thought I was really falling behind. You realize how much time you've wasted not just being yourself, embracing who you are and focusing on the tools that you have in front of you to get you to where you need to be. So as you're setting your goals for 2025 and you're doing your vision boards and doing all of these amazing things with your friends, I wish you guys nothing but the best. But I also want you guys to take this message into consideration and really think about the things that you're putting on your list. Are you writing these things on your list because you feel like you're not doing enough, you're not doing it fast enough, or you're behind? Or are you putting these things on your list because you genuinely want to obtain these things and be a better person at that? So if there's anything that I'd want you guys to focus on differently this year is character development. So things I've changed since the pandemic, so 2019, with writing like my goals and my aspirations, I started doing character building activities, therapy, as well as reading personal development books. And as I read these things and there are things that stick out to me that I struggle with, I add that to my goal list. You know, what I want to be better at, what I want to do. Is it finances? Is it emotional control? Like all of these things, I put those into where I want to be in the next 90 to 120 days. So when it does come for me to start saving, I'm, more financially adverse. I'm not just saying I want to save, and then when I'm in a pickle, I'm taking money out of my savings account. No, I'm learning how to invest. I'm learning about savings. I'm learning about paying myself back when I get paid. I'm learning about paying my bills on time, what it looks like to build your credit score. So then when I go into saving money for future, the money is just there. I don't even have to worry about it. So never compare yourself to others. Don't even compare yourself to me. You can take my advice with a grain of salt. But I just want you guys to know that there is nothing in this life called being left behind. Take your time, be yourself, pray about it. Thank God for where you are, because there are so many other people that are in worse positions than you. Hopefully that made sense. And I just want us to be more grateful for the struggles that we experience and the lessons that we've learned, so we don't put pressure on ourselves, because I know how it feels. It's not a good feeling. And you end up walking with this cloud of anxiety and panic over you that just doesn't feel good, because you're trying to achieve things that are unrealistic for you. It may not be unrealistic for somebody else, but it could be unrealistic for you. And just never let anybody tell you that being realistic is thinking small, because thinking that way really got me to a place of just not having no money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to say, think big, think big, think big. Yes, think big, but be realistic with it. Set realistic goals. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's pretty much my message for today. A topic that has been on my heart. I hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. This is episode 3. I'm thinking of posting a podcast every month, just because I'm about to pop and I'm tired. But yeah, I'm thinking of posting either once or twice a month, but episodes are usually out during the weekdays between Monday and Wednesday at 2 or 3 p.m. Still working on some times here, but Monday through Wednesday, you guys will see between Monday and Wednesday. That's what I'm trying to say. You guys will see an episode in between the hours of 2 and 3 o'clock. But I love you guys. Thanks for tuning into Life No Edits. I hope the things that I'm sharing really resonate with you guys. I would hate to be a person that just comes on here and yaps all day. I really, truly believe that God brought me this platform because of the things that I've gone through and things that I am going through, and to share the things that I am doing to get myself out of these negative places. And if you really are going through it or going through a rough time, don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, whether it's through a therapist, a family member, through prayer, whatever you need. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I feel like that's something that a lot of us struggle with, is asking for help. But I would never want you to just take somebody's advice on the internet, i.e. me. But I just want you to use it as guidance. So again, thank you for watching another episode of Life No Edits. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.